Welcome to the E-commerce Profits Podcast, where we feature top founders and experts in the e-commerce industry and take an in-depth look at the struggles and successes in growing e-commerce brands profitably.
Josh Chin here. I'm the host of the E-commerce Profits Podcast, where we feature top experts, entrepreneurs, and shakers in the e-commerce industry, and we go behind the scenes of the struggles and successes in growing a brand. Now, this episode is brought to you by Kronos Agency. Now, if you run a direct-to-consumer e-commerce brand that is ready to scale and double your customer lifetime value through life cycle marketing, Kronos is your company. And we've helped brands like Truly Beauty, Eliza Skin, and Dr. Living Good scale profits with email, SMS, and mobile push while getting an average of 3,500% ROI from our efforts. And if you're interested to continue on this conversation, the next step is to email us at sales@kronos.agency, or you can go to kronos.agency to learn more. And today's guest is someone really special. Jenna Crane is the director of product marketing at Klaviyo, the leading owned marketing platform for e-commerce brands of all sizes. I'm wearing the t-shirt right now, Klaviyo. Jenna is a veteran product marketer. Prior to Klaviyo, she drove product growth and loyalty for brands like Drift, Dropbox, and Upwork. And I'm so happy to have you here. Jenna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's dive into it. Tell me a little bit about you, about Jenna, and what exactly is your role in Klaviyo?
Yeah, so I have a really fun and exciting job, which is to build out the product marketing team at Klaviyo. We actually haven't really had a traditional product marketing team before at Klaviyo. So going from two of us at the beginning of this year to we'll be about 9 by the end of the year. And yeah, just building all the foundation of product marketing, which is one of my favorite things to do. Messaging and positioning, customer insights, enablement for our internal teams, a launch process, helping shape the roadmap, really helping the rest of the company deeply understand our customers and their needs and their pain points, and helping to make sure we're building the best product that really serves their needs.
That's incredible. And that's definitely not an easy task.
No.
We've been a Klaviyo user and partner for a long time now. And we've seen Klaviyo's growth from when we were at the HQ in Boston back in 2019. I think you guys were at about 300 employees, 300 people strong. And today you guys are at what, 900, close to?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine what it, I've only been here since late February. So the team that was around in 2019, they left the office at about 300 people, and they're going to come back to an office later this year of close to 1,000 people, which is just wild.
That's insane. That's incredible. A little bit about marketing Klaviyo as a product. Now, Klaviyo as a software and as a company has been such an interesting case from an outsider's point of view, whereby the product market itself, Klaviyo is such a great tool, and it has such great product marketing market fit to e-commerce brands, especially on Shopify, WooCommerce. There is very little marketing to do it, especially at the beginning, because a lot of the marketing is done through referrals and word of mouth. And I'm just curious about your strategy and taking that to the next level. What would that look like?
Yeah. So you're exactly right. And that's actually kind of how we got here. So the first, stages of the company's growth, our CEO, Andrew, believes strongly that first you deeply understand your customers, then you build products that solve their problems and meet their needs, and then you bring it to market. So the first kind of phase of the company's growth has really been in those 2 stages. And we've had, just kind of the MVP of marketing. And then now we've, really hit our stride. We have a really strong product, great product market fit, like you said, a lot of a lot of customers who are super happy. And so now we can, really scale the marketing. And what that means is, continuing to generate awareness for Klaviyo. So we've had a lot of organic awareness, which has been great. But, how do we go beyond that and make Klaviyo a household brand name? Because, once you start learning about it and start getting into it, it really does sell itself. It's such a powerful product. So generating awareness is a big focus for my team. We also, we kind of sit on an interesting place in the market where we do email and SMS and website forms and social audiences, but we also have this super strong data component. We were actually a database company to begin with before we turned into a marketing communications company. So there's elements of a customer data platform, CDP, in what we do as well. So we kind of sit at the intersection of these two categories. And that can be difficult to explain and to really show the value of that. So that's another thing that my team is focusing on is how do we describe what we do and really bring to life the value of having all of your data in one place unlocked so you can use that to drive really powerful, relevant, hyper-personalized messages to people. So there's a big messaging and positioning element to that as well, making sure anybody in the company that you just ping and say, how would you describe Klaviyo? That they have a very similar, consistent, compelling answer to that, and they have all the resources to be able to tell that story well.
That's huge, and that sounds like a huge task because Klaviyo does so many things so well. It's hard to kind of summarize that into a book or let alone a paragraph or a sentence that would really kind of encapsulate all of that. Exactly. Let's talk a little bit about the origins of the name Klaviyo. And a lot of people pronounce Klaviyo as Klaviyo, and I know that's not the right way to pronounce it because I actually had a shirt that says Klaviyo. Yeah,
that's
so
right.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it is Klaviyo, but the origin of the name is from clavia, which is the Spanish word for, I think it's called the piton, the thing that you stick in a rock wall when you're rock climbing. So the thinking there, from what I understand, I wasn't there in the beginning, but that we really wanted to make it something, a reference to something that is so critical to businesses or, as rock climbers to their lives, like something you rely on when you're doing something as difficult and risky as rock climbing or starting a business. So it's based on the Spanish clavia.
Clavia, love that. And now a little bit about Klaviyo's evolution over the years. But before that, e-com as a landscape, right? E-commerce has evolved from being sort of like an online transaction type of a nature to a relationship-based landscape to now an experiential, emotional one, where there are like actual connections that people are building with online brands. And I don't think anyone could have kind of predicted that to happen, but it almost seemed like Klaviyo saw this coming before many out there, especially lots of other email softwares in the market. So how did that happen? Was that an intentional thing, or was it kind of just something that Klaviyo fell into?
Yeah, I don't know that we necessarily saw it coming, but the same kind of underlying beliefs that shaped how Klaviyo was built are the same principles that made that evolution happen. So, we really believe that business is just a connection between two humans, and e-commerce is a modern way for that business to take place. So even though you're doing it, at a scale that would have been otherwise impossible for brick and mortar one-to-one retail, the most successful businesses we're seeing are the ones that really feel like a human, personal, one-to-one connection. So we've long believed, we really want to be the platform that empowers businesses to build those personal, long-lasting, authentic relationships with customers on their own terms at internet scale. So it's exciting to see it actually play out that way.
And how exactly does Klaviyo do that? I know that being a kind of effectively a CDP, a customer data platform, helps a ton. And not many other ESPs can claim that. But how exactly does Klaviyo help brands create like experiences beyond the transaction?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, we provide the infrastructure to have those direct owned channels with customers. So, on your website, you can build your subscriber list via email and SMS, and then that gives you the audience to talk to them. Then we actually give you the messaging infrastructure to reach them via email and SMS. But where the power really lies is in that data, and using that data to create really relevant personal interaction. So because we integrate really deeply and easily with e-commerce platforms as well as the rest of the technology that people are using, we can pull in data and store it infinitely and in an unlimited way. And then we do this really cool thing, which is we kind of pre-process it. So you can do super granular segmentations on your audience really, really quickly and really easily. So if you wanted to say, for example, send this campaign to somebody who has visited the website 3 times in the past 2 months, and they've viewed, red shoes, but they haven't bought anything, and they're likely to be, a woman, then send them this campaign 2 weeks before Klaviyo forecasts that they are predicted to make their next purchase. So instead of just, that batch and blast, like one size fits all, which never really works, we give companies the data and the insights to understand what their customers might want to hear from them, and then to make it really easy to send those really personal messages that are just more engaging, more relevant, and helps build those long lifetime relationships.
I love that. I love that. And the thing about what you've just described is that I think not many people understand the complexities and the work that's necessary to reach a point where you can easily go and or logic, or the if this then that type of logic. There's so much that happens behind the scenes with normalizing data, routing data from different platforms onto a single warehouse. And without being I don't come from a coding background, and nor a data background, so I've absolutely no clue what's happening behind the scenes. But after experiencing kind of different platforms in the market, I really truly appreciate the amount of work that enables customers and brands to really just go in and make things happen without worrying about, oh shit, I have to go buy a warehouse, or I have to go subscribe to this other third-party application that I have no idea about.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the theme behind a lot of what we do, is taking the complexity and the hard work off of brands' plates so that they can just focus on building relationships with their customers and, developing great products and offering them. Whether it's like SMS, you don't have to worry about compliance and deliverability and all of the intricacies of setting up an SMS channel. We do all of that for you, so you can just focus on communicating with your customers. So that's exactly right.
I love that. I love that you brought up SMS. So email plus SMS. With at the agency, we've seen this work incredibly well with tons of different clients in different industries. What makes Klaviyo SMS successful, especially in relation to Klaviyo email?
Yeah, so SMS is successful through Klaviyo based on a lot of the things that make email successful as well. Our data infrastructure, the really best-in-class kind of segmentation, data analytics, personalization, all of that is incredibly important. Well, with email for sure, but especially with SMS, because it is a more personal and intimate channel. So you really want to make sure that you're sending the right message at the right time to the right people. The other thing that makes Klaviyo SMS really compelling is that it is combined in the same platform as email. So, for companies, I know a lot of brands are using either custom kind of third-party solutions or just an SMS provider that they add to Klaviyo email. And the issue with that is really, it comes down to attribution. So it's very difficult to report on which channel, which campaign is actually driving revenue. And sometimes you see over attribution, and that makes it really hard to understand what's performing well and where you should invest more in. So you can actually make kind of some core investment decisions there. And then, of course, from the customer experience, so if you don't have your multi-channel flows managed from the same place, then, we see a lot of issues with customers getting over notified or getting, the same message on email and SMS, which is a really poor customer experience that can hurt your brand and also lead to opt-outs. So it is much easier to have it in one place, which is why we're so excited to add SMS and MMS to our offerings.
So you touched a little bit on customer experience. Mm-hmm. And I like to think of Klaviyo as an experience optimization tool than anything. Right? That's a good way of looking at it. Now, mm-hmm. What do you think is the future of customer experience from the perspective of like marketers like myself? Do you see us moving to a more conversational route where brands are having like live conversations with customers, or mm-hmm. do you see more data coming to play?
Yeah, I think it's both. From my time at Drift, I definitely believe in conversational marketing. But, I think just the overall theme there is, people are now so used to super personalized on-demand experiences. Think about like Netflix or, Uber Eats, anything like that. Like you're used to being able to get exactly what you want in the touch of a button. So that transition to doing that in a digital world is not easy. I think brands that are going to be really successful in building great customer experiences deeply understand their customers and know kind of what experience they want to have with that brand, whether that's what kind of communication channels they prefer, what kind of actual content they prefer, and then being able to dynamically personalize that so they can do it at scale. That might look like, dynamic website personalization tools, or definitely, flows into email and SMS and the other channels that you're using to communicate. But I think, also tools that help you have conversations with your customers are going to be really important too. Because, a lot of that in-store business is moving online. And mm-hmm. the thing you miss there is being able to talk to someone and say, well, is this going to look okay? Or, do you have this in another color? And those conversations are now increasingly happening online too. So that's going to be a big investment area, I think, for a lot of brands.
Post-pandemic, what do you think about how the e-com landscape is going to shift or change? What's your prediction?
Well, I feel like I'm a broken record with personalization, but I think, that trend is only going to continue with, we're calling it hyper personalization, especially given that, we're seeing so much more consumer purchasing right now. This is kind of open season for buying again. So brands are competing with more noise than ever. And, those kind of batch and blast, one size fits all communications are just going to increasingly fall flat. So it's going to be more and more important to be relevant and personalized and really understand what to send on what channel and to whom and when. I think the other big trend that we're going to see is around the privacy changes and how that affects the marketing mix and marketing investment areas. So it's going to be increasingly important to build direct relationships with customers. Targeting them on ad platforms is going to be increasingly difficult and expensive. And so I predict the brands that are going to be really successful are the ones that invest in building those direct relationships with customers on their own channels, so they have complete control over how they communicate with them and when, and can really learn also from their engagement and their behavior to continue to optimize not only what they're sending, but what they're building and delivering and offering.
I love that. And what are some of your personal favorites? What are some of your personal favorite brands that you feel does a great job at own marketing and building that amazing experience online?
Yeah. So I have two that come to mind. So one of them is a brand I love, actually. It's called Naked Poppy. They're a clean beauty startup, and they're entirely based on personalized recommendations. So they believe that everyone should have great clean beauty options that are not a compromise to non-clean options. So they've curated this entire marketplace, and they actually have started developing their own products, which are fantastic. So you go on there and you take this quiz, which is actually backed by data science. It's really cool how they do it. And it just from online, it can identify your skin tone and all the things that go into choosing makeup, which is something that before a couple of years ago we wouldn't even think to do online, because it's about shade matching and you got to try things on. But they've developed this amazingly accurate personalized survey, and then they serve you recommendations in each category, and it's completely customized. It's entirely personalized, and then they do a great job of offering content that helps you understand how to use those products best and what other products you might need. And it's very much adding value, instead of just trying to sell. Like, here's what you need to think about summer skincare, and even when we were all wearing masks, like how to manage your skin under masks. So they've done an amazing job pivoting to this online business, and the core of their business is about personalization, which I really think is wonderful. The other one that comes to mind is Native, the deodorant company. So I also am a big fan of them. I remember when I first started ordering from them, their order confirmation email was so different than anything else you would see. It was like, it started with, I think it was like, oh my God, Kristen in our office just screamed at her computer and yelled, oh my God, Jenna bought deodorant, or something like that. It's like this whole story that they craft with dynamic personalization. And it really, catches your eye and makes you develop a more of a relationship with that brand. But what they did that was super smart, I think, was they have this quiz where you can build your own kind of custom deodorant scent. And then they ship it to you, and it literally says like Jenna's deodorant, and then you can reorder it. And it, if you like the scent, or you can change it. But you can literally develop a custom formulation, and then keep ordering that, and it has your name on it. I think that was really smart.
So Naked Poppy and Native deodorant. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely going to check them out. Native, pretty familiar with that. Moz, they have done such an amazing job in the D2C space. Yeah. And I think that email, that idea, actually, if I'm not wrong, actually comes from Derek Sivers and CD Baby.
Really?
So CD Baby is they are one of the earliest, the kind of old school internet marketing company. It's digital music distribution.
Okay.
Pretty cool. They were founded like before the 2000s, and they kind of started the whole funny post-purchase email thing, and it was kind of written out in his book. I think it's called Anything You Want by Derek Sivers. Such a good book.
Write that down.
Super short, super easy to read, and I got so much out of that book.
Cool.
And yeah, we at our agency, we actually used that same angle, that same idea with a ton of different brands, especially in the cosmetics and beauty space, where that personal touch is so valuable. Mm-hmm. It works like a charm.
That's great.
Say. Especially if you put your own flair to it, and it's just super fun. Mm-hmm. And it kickstarts a really cool conversation that we then have the customer success team prepared for, and a lot of that selling can organically happen on the back end as well. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So Jenna, what's next for Klaviyo?
Yeah, we've got a lot of really exciting things in store. I can't share exactly what they are, but I can tell you some of the themes.
Secretive.
So we're going to continue to work on a few areas. So making Klaviyo the most intuitive and easy to use platform. We hear over and over again that is something that our customers really value and is one of our differentiators. So that's not going anywhere and is only going to get stronger, especially in how you connect to your other technology and unlock all your data, bring in data from everywhere else, and how you use that data to create really powerful campaigns and automation and segmentations. And also how you get insights on your customers, your performance, and where to optimize. So we have a huge data science team that's doing really amazing things, like I said earlier, taking the work off of customers' plates so they can focus on running their business. The other theme that we're working on is making multi-channel marketing really easy with continued work on SMS. We have a lot of great features and functionality in store for our SMS product. And the last theme I would say is helping you send smarter marketing without doing extra work. So that data science piece is incredibly important. We launched benchmarks earlier this year as one of our big moments there, allowing you to see how your different campaigns and flows are performing compared to not just industry averages, but peers that are like yours. So we have this huge database of communications that we can pull from to really identify what are the most impactful and high performing aspects of emails and SMS, and how do we surface that to our customers to make their lives easier, help them optimize. We have a lot of great things planned with A/B testing and making that super intuitive and easy. So just generally, helping you do better work without the additional time and effort.
I love that. That's always music to my ears. Jenna, thank you so much. And if listeners are interested to connect with you and learn more about what you do and learn more about Klaviyo, where should they go to?
Yes, for Klaviyo, definitely check out our website, klaviyo.com, Klaviyo. And then feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You should find me under Jenna Crane.
Awesome. And in the show notes, we'll link. We'll have all these linked up in the show notes as well, how you can sign up for Klaviyo and all that good stuff. Jenna, thank you so much for your time. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
It was such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the E-Commerce Profits Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get notified of future episodes.